Today we will be covering 6 specific topics for small business tax requirements and penalties. Let's dive right in. Number 1, determine whether you are a calendar or fiscal year end. So a calendar year end is pretty self-explanatory. January 1st is the start, December 31st, your tax year ends. Fiscal year ends is 12 months from when the final reporting date is. So some Japanese companies, for example, will usually use a March 31st year end, so their tax year starts on April 1st, 12 months prior. So determining whether you are going to be using a fiscal or calendar year end is determined when you first start doing business. Certain exceptions apply, but for the most part, understand that when you open your business, you would have to determine whether it's a calendar or fiscal year end. Number 2, what are the tax requirements for a single member LLC or sole proprietor? The first thing you should first establish is, like we mentioned, is the end date, the calendar year end or the fiscal year end. Once that's established, you need to add 4 months and 15 days from that date. Once you add those days, that is when the due date of your federal taxes are due. Typically the same for the state. So for a calendar year end, it's famous for knowing April 15th. So remember, on a calendar year end, April 15th is your due date, is if you're a sole proprietor or single member LLC. Number 3, as we mentioned previously, corporations in the eyes of the IRS are considered separate entities. So in that case, if it's a calendar year end, they are also due on April 15th, which is 4 months and 15 days after its calendar due date, or it's 4 months and 15 days after the fiscal year end. Number 4, let's throw a wrench into it. Multi-member LLCs as well as S-corps are all going to be due 3 months and 15 days after the year end. Whether it's calendar or fiscal, as I previously mentioned, you add 3 months instead of 4 and 15 days. The reason behind this is that there are investors and partners that need to receive that type of compensation report, which are considered K-1s, prior to their filing requirement, and not everything is due on the same exact date. So it gives that investor and that individual a 30-day window to prepare their taxes. So anything that's a flow-through entity is most likely gonna be due on 3 months instead of 4 after your tax date is declared. Number 5, all those dates I just mentioned, guess what? You can apply for a 6-month filing extension, which extends your time to file your taxes. So if it was due on March 15th for a calendar year end, now it's due on September 15th. And if it was due on April 15th, it is now due October 15th. So you can apply for an automatic 6-month extension to file your taxes. Number 6, let's talk about penalties. So the IRS can assess 3 types of penalties. Number 1, failure to file penalty. So if you don't file your taxes in time or apply for a 6-month extension, you can be assessed a failure to file penalty. Number 2, failure to pay penalty. So what everybody needs to understand is that an extension, a 6-month extension, is an extension to file your taxes. It's not an extension to pay your taxes after 6 months, 2 months, whatever it is. You need to pay your taxes on the due date, the original due date, no exceptions. Whether it's April 15th or March 15th, you need to pay your taxes on time. Number 3 is interest. So you will pay interest on those amounts and any tax balances that you owe. So make sure that you try to pay them before or pay them as soon as possible, because the interest rate will continue to climb and it gets compounded daily. So it can get very expensive. So don't keep them laying around or sitting around. Pay off those tax balances as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. For any additional information, be sure to give us a call. You can shoot us an email or you can shoot us a direct message on any one of our social media platforms. We get back to you guys pretty quickly. And subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on any one of those social media platforms. Thank you again, and I really appreciate you guys watching.